All right, back here on SportsLine as we continue our preview of Tennessee and Vanderbilt this Saturday night. You just heard from head coach Derek Mason of the Commodores. Now we hear from Vols coach Butch Jones.
You know, I thought our kids played a very, very good second half. Was very pleased with the way we came out. Obviously, Micah Abernathy got us started with a turnover. When you look back on the game, you know, kind of the same storylines as Kentucky a little bit in terms of red zone defense. I thought we did a very good job in terms of that. We took the ball away. We forced 4 turnovers, and then offensively, we didn't turn the football over, so we valued the football. And when you create turnovers and you play well in the red zone, is obviously going to give you an opportunity to win the game. As we know, our margin of error is very, very small defensively due to our numbers. And we had some individuals step up, make some big plays for us, 4th and 1 stop, and again generating the turnovers. And everyone's going to say, well, what happened with all the yards? And when you look at it, and when we dissected the video, we looked at 3 components of it. We looked at it: scheme, fundamentals, and personnel. And we tried to put them in those 3 categories, and sometimes it was more than one of those categories. Our kids are battling. We have individuals that are playing through pains and injuries and all that that's associated with the long football season. But you know, again, it's playing together, and one wrong, all wrong. You can have 10 individuals play winning football, and one individual lack eye discipline, miss a tackle, not get off a block, and then all of a sudden there's an explosive play. So we have to go back in terms of the basics and just focus on the fundamentals, the details, and get us playing as one. You know, all 11 individuals, 1 out of 11, doing their job and understanding their responsibilities. Offensively, explosive plays, and I think the key was mixed downs, being able to win first down, staying ahead of schedule, and we were able to do that. When you look at Vanderbilt, Derek has done a tremendous job of really continuing to build that football program. I believe 4 of their losses have come from 1-possession games. Tough, very, very physical. They do not turn the football over offensively. They've only had 11 turnovers all year. They take the ball away. They're second in the conference and in the nation, I believe, in red zone defense. So points are going to be at a premium when we get into the red zone. I believe they have one of the best players in Zach Cunningham. He's all over the field, and again, I think he'll be a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year in our conference. They're also number 1 in our conference in red zone offense, and they've only turned the football over 11 times. So when you don't turn the football over offensively, you create turnovers, you win in the red zone, you're tough, you're physical. That's going to give you an opportunity to win each and every week, and they've been able to do that. So it's a great challenge going on the road. But again, a big week for us, and we have to do a great job, obviously, starting with our preparation this week. So I'll answer any questions you may have.
Butch, a couple of things. One is, when you define a successful season, is it wins and losses only, or is there other criteria? And secondly, Jonathan Combo's interception return, how much do you think that'll do for him going forward?
Should bring a lot of confidence. You know, Jonathan's a young man who's never played inside before, and he went inside and did some really, really good things for us, and was very encouraged with the way he played. Obviously had a lot of snaps, productivity, and you know, he should continue to get better and better. But anytime you have some success like that, it's going to help. It's going to help your confidence, and that was great to see from him and moving forward. In terms of defining a season, I think there's a lot of things that go into it. First of all, you know, where's your football program at? Does it meet its fullest potential? How did you overcome and handle the natural adversities of a long football season? The goal every year is to win a championship. So that's our goal every year, is to win a championship. This football team has a lot to play for. I'm exceptionally proud of our seniors. We're exceptionally proud of our team, everything that's gone into it, and the adversities that we've been through this year. So I don't ever put numbers on it. You know, does your team overachieve, underachieve in everything? But I want to make it clear that winning a championship is our #1 goal in our program, year in and year out.
But you talked after the game about missed tackles. Why do you think that's been sort of an ongoing issue? I know there's a lot of injuries. Maybe there's a lot of new guys playing in the second and third levels. But why do you think this team has maybe been not as good a tackling team as some of your past defenses?
Yeah, good question. And we've broken down every missed tackle, and there's different, there's side tackles, there's profile tackles. We've looked into all that. A lot of times it's not running our feet. It's not continuing to run our feet, drive for 5, which we talk about. I think consistency with individuals being out of the lineup. Sometimes it may be an individual nursing a shoulder injury or something like that, but that's something we have to do a much better job. I thought Saturday we weren't as good as we've been in the past in terms of running our feet. I thought we were lunging at the tackles. We didn't have much power and explosiveness behind ourselves when we tackled. And I think the other thing is getting population to the football. When you have 11 individuals to the football, you're going to play more physical and you're not going to miss as many tackles. And sometimes it's leveraging the football as well. So again, I think it goes back to the 1 out of 11. I still think it goes back to winning your one-on-one matchup and your fundamentals. But just to kind of summarize it, I thought that we lunged too much and we didn't bring our feet and drive for 5, which we talk about all the time. And we'll work very hard on it. It's hard right now to tackle in this stage of the game, but we do everything we can to form fit tackle. We use the donuts and all the practice apparatuses that you can have, we use, and we'll continue to do that. I have seen some individuals, though, make tremendous progress as well, but it's something as a team we have to improve upon.
Coach Jones, throughout the last couple of years, how would you assess the development at the linebacker position? Talking about guys like Dylan Bates, Gavin Bryant that have been here for a few years and don't see the field other than the special teams role very much.
I would say that each individual develops at their own pace. Obviously, football is a developmental game, and some individuals are ahead of others. Obviously, that's a position this year that I think has really been set back, first of all, to injuries, and that's not a crutch or an excuse. That's just reality. I think Dylan has worked very, very hard. He's been set back with a number of injuries that I think has really pushed him back from a physical standpoint. That's why, bowl prep, getting in the weight room this offseason will be critical, and we'll have strength goals that he has to meet. We'll have also, different weights that he has to meet as well in terms of body weight. And then I think, a lot of your special teams has to come from the secondary position and the linebacker position. And then I think sometimes just overall knowledge, and I think it's based on to be able to retain information, be able to think and process information quickly. Playing linebacker is a lot like a quarterback in terms of making all your calls, getting lined up, reading run or pass, and then executing. And I think sometimes it takes time. I think it's a great illustration that still football is a developmental position, and I thought Cortez Sapp was making tremendous progress this year. He had a very, very good spring, had a good training camp, and then he was set back. But also, with these injuries and some of these individuals that are out, this is also a great time to improve upon your football knowledge and your knowledge of the system and all that. But I think every individual, Seth, has a different storyline from their development process.
Paul, Reed, and Steve.
Butch, these last 2 games, it seems like you guys kind of knew there was probably going to be a shootout against Missouri and Kentucky, but in South Carolina, it didn't seem you guys came out as aggressive. How do you make sure against a team that probably has a better defense than Vanderbilt that you don't, I guess, go back to not being as aggressive early on and making sure you still take those trick plays, big shots, things like that?
Well, I think if you go back, which I did, and you watch that game, we called the same plays. We just didn't execute. Whether it was a drop pass or whether it was a pass off base or a missed pass protection or a missed run. So football is a game of execution. We're playing football the way we played all year. It isn't like all of a sudden we've made some monumental changes schematically. We're playing the way we played. Our players are doing a great job of executing. I think they've continued to get better and better each and every week, and I think that's a byproduct, and it's all relative to improvement, also confidence. And I give our offensive line a lot of credit. We talk about the injuries this year and all that, and the different, I believe we're at 9 or 10 different starting combinations in the back end of our defense. Well, the same can be said up front. and these individuals are gaining valuable game repetitions, and I see up front us getting better and better. Now, we all know we're going to be exceptionally challenged this week in Nashville because this is as good of a defense as we faced all year. So we have to do a great job of eliminating negative yardage football plays and being able to have some big plays as well. But I think it's more really just a byproduct of execution, whether it's completing the deep ball, whether it's going up and getting it, taking care of the football. I think that's the other thing is, we're not turning the football over. And then I think the other thing is first down.